Welcome back. For years, social scientists, futurists, and others have peered into the future and surmised that rapidly evolving technology, combined with dramatically improved productivity, would bring and result in improved quality of life that would result in more leisure time for all. So much for future predictions. Along with those predictions was the realization that some sort of basic income would be needed to balance the fact that most Americans would be working fewer hours in their life of leisure. Well, they only got half the equation right.
No, that's right.
There has been no shortage of universal basic income schemes being tried around the world. In fact, former presidential candidate Andrew Yang even tried to make it a campaign issue. Well, a country has actually tried this as an experiment for the last 6 years and issues a rather lengthy paper on what they learned. We will share the highlights.
Yeah, because the report was 82 pages long, and that just wasn't going to happen. The country is Iceland, and their issue was they contended, their premise is that people would be better served by working less. Now, they didn't nick them pay-wise, and we're not talking about dramatic decrease, because at first I was thinking, oh my God, are they talking about maybe halftime or something? No, they're actually talking about a reduction on average of about 4 hours, or about 10% of the working week. But the results they got for that reduction in time was amazing. Now, in fairness, people, we got to admit that part of that is also due to the lifestyle and the fact that it's a small country anyway, and that you're talking about 1% of a total workforce of about 250,000 that participated.
Yep.
So there were a lot of environmental and social parts of this that we're not going to get into that are unique to Iceland that made this possible. But they're not the first ones. I mean, there have been a number of private schemes. I think Denmark may have even tried it on a very limited basis. I know that I think they did it for a group of people, of which one was either an artist or sculptor or something, for like a year, where they tried it. I know that Andrew Yang not only pushed it, but actually I think 10 families, I think he tried his own little experiment, like $1,000 extra a month or something.
I've seen now 5 to 10 of basic income studies. They've done it. I mean, even in really small fractioned off areas like in Africa, they've done it. I mean, they've studied it so many ways, and almost every study shows that it leads to benefits. And props to Andrew Yang, because we weren't talking about it before.
We weren't.
I mean, and it's something MLK talked about back in the 60s and the 70s. Like, I think it's really important in this intro. We talked about how 60s and 70s, they really thought we would be phasing out a majority of certain kinds of work. We'd be able, all this technology, all these things coming up. You know, by the 2000s, we wouldn't be working half as hard and this kind of stuff. But
they had no idea that we'd be working twice as hard for less money, because productivity actually pushed wages down.
Yeah.
So wage growth suffered while productivity soared, but the quality of life didn't improve.
Yep.
It was crazy. Let me just hit the highlights real quick. The question: did improvements in workers' well-being and work-life balance take place? Short answer, yes. With better work-life balance, easier to do errands, participation in home duties, more time for oneself, less stress at home, positive effect on single parents. Can you imagine right there? More exercise and a wider social well-being, all by working on average a less than 4 hours less a week. Now, I got to premise this, and I didn't get into this part of the study, and this thought just struck me. Now, they were talking about a 40-hour work week. I wonder how many of those people in the study actually worked more than 40.
Yeah.
I mean, here in the United States, that is not uncommon.
No.
You know, because you've got on-the-clock work and off work, answering emails, responding to different stuff away from home, getting prepped to go to work, either by research or whatever.
Side hustles, side jobs.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's so many different factors, especially with these kind of things. I think a lot of people automatically that are kind of like, to this right away. You know, some jobs aren't going to, you have to reimagine how work is done. Certain industries will be different than others in a concept like this. You know, there's a difference between computer technology desk job and then, a restaurant or on a factory floor.
But think about this. As of now, because they released the study in July, roughly 86% of Iceland's entire working population has now either moved to working shorter hours or have gained the right to shorten their working hours. 86%.
Good for them.
In fact, these reductions were pushed by the unions, have already become into effect for most workers. And what they said, worker well-being increased across a range of indicators from perceived stress and burnout to health and work-life balance.
Yeah, burnout, which is what came to my mind, because consider all the turnover from people being overworked and the burnout, and they complain about not getting enough workers. People don't want to do things that rag on their body and their mind.
Oh yeah, and basically what the study concentrated on was many that moved from a 40-hour to a 35 or 36-hour working week, and they made this point: reductions in working time were not accompanied by a reduction in pay. One thing they found out, and I want to point this out, was that the transformative positive effects of a shorter working week for both employees and businesses alike, productivity and service provision remained the same or improved across the majority of trial workplaces.
Yeah.
Improved.
I think there's kind of two ways you can look at this too. I think some people that are listening to this might think, oh yeah, there's easily 5 to 6 hours where during my work week where I'm not really doing a whole lot, and that could easily just be like, why am I taking up that space? Or you have the opposite end where they don't have, a nick of time to themselves over this 40-hour work week. And it's like, they deserve that break too. Like they deserve.
Throw this in. If you've got that less time, multiply that times commuting time, whether it's 15 minutes or an hour or more. If you're able to reconfigure, because they call it sometimes a 4-day work week. If you can get to a 4-day work week and you've got a whole additional day off, so you've got, you're working 4 days, you're off 3, what kind of quality of life could that be for you?
Yeah.
Mental health alone would help. To work an extra 2 hours a day to get an extra day off. Yeah. Yes, please.
I can't act like I'm optimistic for anything like this in the States, though.
I think as technology continues its pace at the speed it's moving, I think we're going to come to some real reckoning.
We did talk. There are some changes post-COVID, but it also seems like there's kind of a half and half. Some real changes from working from home, doing these things, and there's a half like get back to normal just as fast as we can.
And
no
I
real
think
changes
that's gonna,
to anything.
Because it's never going to be one size fits all.
Of course not.
It never will be for a lot of different reasons. Tradition, location.
Yeah. Unionization
need,
too. Like
or even the type of work done may not lend itself to that no matter what you do.
Yeah.
But I do believe that as we continue along the path, we see faster and faster move towards more and more technology every day.
Yeah.
I think we're going to come to this. Maybe not in the next 5 to 10 years, but yeah, within your lifetime, if not within mine.
Yeah.
I absolutely believe that. Absolutely do.
So did the people in the 60s and 70s, huh?
They did, but we're a lot closer than they were.
Yeah,
Trust me when I tell you, because they didn't have the technology we've got now. Lincoln Company wants you to rethink the whole...